Attorney General's office took steps to have a 16-year-old arrested for the carjacking of the Orleans DA to be tried as an adult.
Dijon Curtis made a first appearance in juvenile court. As Rob Masson reports, it appears video surveillance will be crucial evidence for the prosecution.
The 16-year-old charged with being the gunman in the carjacking of Orleans DA Jason Williams and his mother learns more about the charges filed against him after surveillance video helps lead to an arrest.
Just before the execution of the search warrants, we're still seeing them on the street committing more crimes.
It has been 10 days since Orleans DA Jason Williams and his mother were carjacked at gunpoint in the 1000 block of Race Street.
Two armed suspects got out of the car and pointed weapons mostly at me.
16-year-old Dijon Curtis made a first appearance in Orleans Juvenile Court. Surveillance video prompted law enforcement to take extra precautions before Curtis's arrest Tuesday morning.
Which is obviously very concerning, especially in this case since the person is dual wielding a pistol in each hand, ready to lay down cover fire for the person that's breaking into the white car behind me.
You can see in these images police using flashbangs and battering rams as they sought out Dijon, who was arrested shortly after. The Assistant Attorney General has stepped in to prosecute the case since the Orleans DA has a conflict because he and his mother were victims.
The line between a carjacking in which no one is injured and a carjacking in which someone loses their life, it's a little bit of pressure on the trigger.
Curtis was formally charged with 3 counts of armed robbery with a firearm, 1 count of illegal possession of a gun by a juvenile, and for possessing a gun in the commission of a crime. The Assistant Attorney General said he was prepared to move forward with a 305B hearing designed to move the case to adult court. But the defense asked the judge for more time to prepare for a trial where surveillance images could be critical.
Not only are we able to show who did what, we're also able to show repeated patterns. We're able to show state of mind. We're able to show, for example, when a person kills another person and they walk away and they're laughing.
18-year-old Ahmad Seals has also been arrested and faces 3 counts of principal to an armed robbery with a firearm. Suspect Raymond Rochon III was also arrested in connection with this case. Police say he was caught driving Williams' car.
Juvenile Court Judge Renard Derensburg scheduled another hearing December 6th on whether the case will be moved to adult court. Meantime, Curtis will remain in custody at the Juvenile Justice Center.